Hi everyone. Oh, I'm so glad to be back. I'm glad to have you. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I hope you didn't miss me too much. Thank you to the ones who messaged me and sent me emails and everything wondering if I was okay. And yes, I totally am. It's been 4 weeks since I podcasted. I did a live 2 weeks ago, the final live for the collaboration. And I also, if you notice by the title, it says 33.5. That's because I did a whole podcast and I sat down to edit it. And this was 2 weeks ago. And I was not feeling it. It was terrible. I wasn't myself. I rushed through everything. And I don't like to do that to you guys. Like, for the ones that like the longer podcasts, this is the spot for you. For those that like to watch in pieces, this is the spot for you. Those who like 5-minute videos, not so much, because I like to give all the information through the whole thing. Now, if you like shorter spans of watching, YouTube remembers where you left off. So next time if you want to pick up where we were, you can easily just press play again and it'll remember where you were. I'm going to do a little something different this time because I know that it's going to end up being a long episode. I'm going to put down in the description box the times that you can fast forward to for certain parts. So if you are interested just in my FOs, it's going to tell you where that is. If you're interested just in my knit part, I'm going to separate my crochet and my knitting sections. And I'm going to have everything listed down below so you know where it all is. I hope that helps. That'll probably just be for this episode because, oh, my fingers, my toes are crossed that this is going to hold up. Sorry guys, some reason it's saying it's not recognizing my memory card and it's halfway through me talking, so I don't know how that goes. So as I was saying, yeah, I apologize very deeply for all these crazy things going on the last 4 weeks, but I got lots done, a lot. So if you know me, I like to do a little bit of everything. So I like to do a little crochet, a little knitting, a little easy, a little hard, and mix it all up and do not just an episode of all Afghans and all sweaters and all socks and things like that. I like a mixture of everything. So today I've got lots for you. So I have 7 finished objects. Yeah, 7. They're not small. I have 7 WIPS that are all brand new that you haven't seen. I have some happy mails. I have some happy wife, happy life section, and so much more. So since I've seen you last, just a quick rundown. Besides knitting, crocheting, all I really did was watch the Olympics, bury my sweet bird. I had another death in the family. My little bird, my zebra finch pipsqueak that you would hear in the background during my videos, she has passed away. We had her for 8.5 years. And she was an adult bird already when we got her, so we have no clue how old she was. But yeah, my son went out and buried a hole, like went 4 feet down with a post hole digger. And I had a little, I don't know why, I had a little wooden coffin shaped jewelry box type thing that I got from the dollar store, and she fit perfectly in there. So, sorry, that was my dog. So yeah, that's been a little hard, a little lonely because I'm so used to chatting with her and her peeping back at me. So I was very sad for a couple of weeks. So I had a hard time, and I think that showed on my last video also. And when you're not yourself, it is really, really hard to sit here and talk to yourself. Yes, I'm talking to you guys in the way around it, like by the time I edit it and send it out there, but you're not right in front of me for me to speak to. So it's kind of weird in a way, but I'm kind of getting used to it. But yeah, so I think it showed on the camera, and I apologize that for anybody that did miss my videos. So this is all my crochet section for anybody wanting to see all the crochet goodness. There is 1, 2, 3 finished objects in crochet. So that leaves 4 that are a works in progress. So I'm going to show you, first of all, some of my works, or my finished objects rather. So the first one is using, as you probably, if you followed along with the One Cal collab, using this loops and thread cottony silk yarn. And it's this stuff here. There's my gauge swatch. Well, one of my gauge swatches. If you followed along for a while, you know that I did like 3 gauge swatches. Now, I have enough here left that I think I'm going to do a pocket. And that I just kind of decided and haven't got around to doing yet. So I think I'm going to do a pocket because I use pockets all the time. So I'll insert not a video, I'll insert a photo of myself wearing the sweater right here because it's too darn hot. Like, I'm hot. This is a fingering shirt. I guess I should tell you this is a fingering sweater made with I think a 3mm hook, if I remember correctly. Kayla Osborne's design. All in one. There's no seaming. It's all made, and it's top-down construction, and I love it. It's actually my favorite crochet garment that I own. And the only thing that would make this better would be that it would be purple or that it would be made in cotton for this time of year, for summer. Wool would be also really nice for me for the winter because I'm always cold. But this one here I made using the loops and thread wool-like. So it's not really wool, it's wool-like, but I like it. It'll keep me warm in the winter. It'll keep me a little cool on the fall and spring days, but not a summer garment. I should have mentioned this at the beginning, but it's crochet related, so it's in the crochet section. So this is my sweater. My son didn't get very good pictures of me wearing it. He was actually, I asked him to take pictures of me wearing the sweater, and he took pictures of the dog that was at my feet instead. And one picture of me wearing the sweater, so that's what I got. Now this is, the cottony silk is partial cotton. It's not all cotton. It is 60% polyester, 20% cotton, and 20% silk. So it has that little bit of cotton in there to kind of keep you cool, and it's a hand wash, that's part, but that doesn't bother me because I'll be wearing something underneath all the time. So this pattern is made by me. I learned so much doing the One Cal collab with my friends Gina and Lorraine that I decided I was going to go off and do my own thing, make my own pattern. So here it is. So here's the sleeve. It's got a beautiful ribbing on it, and it just naturally just stripes this yarn. I made like a V-neck, so it comes down in a V on my front. I don't have any buttons on it. I'm unsure of buttons right now, but I could easily add some. There's holes that are large enough. And then another sleeve. I made my sleeves, as you could see, very long. Like, put this under and I could still stretch it over my hand because I like that sort of thing. That's the great thing about making your own garments. You could do what you want. If you want long sleeves, you do long sleeves. You do you. If you want short sleeves, do short sleeves. That's what I love about it. If you want more information about this, I have all the information that I did, exactly what I did, over on our last live, which is on my channel down here. And go right to the very end of the video if you don't want to watch everything. But we have a beautiful slideshow showing off everybody's sweaters that were made. Take a breath, Barb. And I'm so excited, if you can't tell, because I have so much goodness to show you. But go right to the very end. My project's the very last project, and I tell you everything you want to know about it. So if this interests you, I'm actually considering a spring cal And if that interests you, let me know. So I might do a spring cal, and it might actually be a cal, C-A-L or K-A-L, because I may try to do this over the winter in a knit version as well. And then I can have people that just knit, have people that just crochet in the cal. So that would be great fun. So if it interests you at all to make a garment, and I tell you how to, like, I guide you along. I don't tell you, I would never tell you. I guide you along on the journey on how to get gauge, from how to get gauge that you like, all the way through to what stitches you would like to use, to how large of a hook or needles, the construction, like, guide you through the whole process. If that interests you, let me know. It will not be, I will let you guys know though, because of the one cal collab, we had so many people comment, like the good, the bad, whatever. It was all useful information, but a couple people said it was too long of a time. But sweaters take time, especially when you're doing a couple and there was people doing multiple of them. And it also takes time when you're doing your project yourself. It also takes time if you didn't understand the original project to begin with. So now that I did this, and I want to make sure that it lasts a while, the cal. So what I probably would be thinking would be the beginning of the spring all the way till the first day of summer, so that it's a long distance. And then when people, they go on holidays or things come up, because life happens, and I have a channel, I need other things to keep me busy as well. So I like the longer distance. So if you're in for those and you want to learn something, let me know down below, because if I've only got interest, a little wee bit of interest, I probably won't even bother, because there's so many things on my list of things to do that I want to do. So, and I've already did one, but I'm really, really okay with sharing any information about construction and what I did to get to my ideas, to pass any information along. I'd love to do that for you. So just let me know. Okay, so my next FO, do I have 1, 2, oh, my next FO for crochet is fantastic, fabulous, amazing, awesome, glorious, all the words that mean beautiful. And I'm just blown away. Just blown away. I got it done at last. So I have something that I've crocheted, and I made it, I started it, and it's made with 30 squares, 1 foot by 1 foot, a 6mm crochet hook, red heart ombre yarn, so you know how those big balls the ombre is, 800 and some meters or yards in it, and in the colorway of hickory. And I ran out of yarn when I needed 3 more squares. I could have made it smaller, but I wasn't having that. I wanted a certain size, and I wanted it very, very big. And so I went, my husband took me all around Ottawa. My mother-in-law took me all around Peterborough when we were in Peterborough there last year in March in 2020, before the shutdowns. And I ended up finding the ball at Hirschner's in the States. And of course I can't just buy 1 ball of yarn, so I ended up putting in an order of Hirschner's. So it was a few $100 just to get the 1 ball of yarn, but I do love their yarn, and I don't regret putting in the order, because I made so many beautiful things out of that yarn. But oh, I've kept you in suspense enough. I'm hoping to take a photo after I do this, and I'll insert it here after I show you first, okay? The squares, there's 30 of them, as I said, 12 by 12. Each square took me 4 to 5 hours a piece. 4 to 5 hours for 1 square. So you can imagine how much time this took. So just 1 second. I'm not going to be able to show the whole thing in the camera. That's why I'll take a picture after. But this will give you an idea of how large it is when I hold it up. Okay, are you ready for this? I'm going to show you the wrong side of the blanket. It is totally reversible, but I'm going to show you the wrong side first, guys. There's one square the wrong size with the border. Here's another square the wrong size. Ooh, another square the wrong side. This is the wrong side, guys. So, and you might be thinking, oh, the right side just looks cleaner lines, and the right side might just pop a little bit more, but no, you just you wait, just you wait. Here's the right side now. Gotta just turn it around so it's not twisted. Dun, dun, dun. Look at this. This is the right side. Oh my God, I'm so excited. My dog's looking at me funny. This is the right side. Look at that. Oh, these squares are so freaking amazing. Look at that. So these are called mosaic crochet squares. Mosaic crochet. I kind of seen an similar. So there's the border. So I kind of seen similar all over the place, and I let my husband pick a pattern. I set him free on Ravelry for, well, I don't know, it must have been a few nights in a row. He was looking and looking for just exactly what he liked, and he found one similar in gray, but he didn't want it in gray because he wanted the browns, the beiges. Well, gray's neutral too, but he liked the earthy tones of it. So he found first the pattern, and then I looked through yarns, and then I looked on Ravelry under yarns similar, and found one done in the browns and changed it up a little bit. So the one I found, the pattern that I found, had the front post double crochet that you see there every second or third. It wasn't as much as what I had put in. So I put lots and lots of front post double crochets. Now this is a yarn eater, guys. This here is 5.5 feet wide by 6.5 foot tall. And one of those humongous balls of yarn does 2.5 squares. That's how much it eats. So 2.5 squares it took for that one gigantic ball. I don't even have a ball to show you because, well, like I said, I made them like a year and a half ago, the 30 squares, and I just mattress stitched them together. I should show you that, huh? I mattress stitched them together. Just watch my drink. And because I didn't want to add more in the middle because it's big enough by the time you put the border. After I mattress stitched them together, I did my own border. Like, it's not a pattern. I'll explain the border in a minute. When I did each square, I left a really long tail so that I knew I was having to mattress stitch them together. So instead of having even more ends, I leave that last tail end at least, I think I left it about 4 foot long. I know it's a little obsessive, but I left it 4 foot long to do the mattress stitching. And it worked perfectly because then I didn't have to add, like, I think I could go to do together 4 squares before I had to use the end of another one. So here is my mattress stitch. It's just like looped. You could see kind of just twisted around the chains. This is the wrong side. On the right side, you don't really even notice it very much. And then for my border, I did a row of single crochet just to join it all together. I did a row of double crochet. No, I did 2 rows of double crochet. Then I did a row of double crochet, chain 1, skip a space, or skip a spot, you know, and then double crochet again all the way around. And then the last row, I did 2 double crochets in each, whoops, I'm not even showing you, in each of those spaces. I did 2 double crochets. Then on the ends, you can see how I did two to make it so it doesn't get round. 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. And sometimes I just did 1 when it was called for. I just kind of went with the flow, honestly, for it. So yeah, I really, really loved, I found it very therapeutic, and I absolutely loved it. If you've been with me for a while, you would have seen the pink and blue one that I had made for my sister-in-law for Christmas. Maybe I'll put a photo of it here. And it was done the same way, the mosaic stitch, and or the mosaic squares. So I love, love, love it. And you know what you could use it for? A weighted blanket. It is so heavy, so heavy. But I am going to tomorrow, I'm going to put it in the washing machine with, you know, Red Heart yarn sometimes is a little on the scratchier side, but lasts like forever. So I'm going to put it in with some nice, what do you call that stuff? Fabric softener, and I'm going to soften it up, and then I'm going to go and block it so that it lays perfectly flat. Fold it up and put it in the gift bag ready to go. So I'm so excited about that, and I hope I can't wait to hear what you guys think about it, because I'm just thrilled with the result of it. Just thrilled, and I love it, and I wish it was mine. Okay, so the next crochet I have for you to see, I guess I have 4 things, but the 4th one isn't actually even started. I just want to tell you about it. So the next thing I have, and it's in my bag, I'm sorry, Elise, I have not yet put my name on there like you suggested yet. It will get done though, honestly. So it's being housed in there, and it's using a 4mm crochet hook. And my son bought me this kit while we were at Wool Time in Ottawa to make either this shawl or this shawl. So because I was working on the Vertices Unite already knitting, I figured I would do a crochet one. So I chose this one. It's not in this color though. My husband also bought me the same kit but with different colors, so I'll do the knit one for his kit. So here is the yarn sitting, what's left of the yarn sitting in the bag. You can see the ball there. Don't you love watching that when you pull the yarn out and it's like that? So this is a new cast on. All of these things that are WIPS are brand new. You've never seen them. They're all brand new cast-ons because I had a cast-on crazy 4 weeks. Okay, so I'm just getting my yarn untangled here. It's a fingering weight yarn. And oh my gosh, it's turning out so pretty. How do we show this now? Here we go. This is what I have so far. Now, this would be big enough to be like a bandana kind of cowl. I think the light's kind of coming in a little too strong today. But it's, yeah, it's pretty. It's so pretty, and it's a gradient, like it's going down from the, started at this beautiful, like lighter purple, then it's like 3 ply, I think, and then it gradually, 1 ply becomes black, and with 2 strands of purple, then the next section goes down to 2 strands of black with 1 strand of purple, and now I'm into the, almost just the, well, it's not black, it's dark purple, I guess. I thought it looked black, but you can see the gray, how it's gradient there. And I'm guessing the blue and the pink also do the same. Now I'm going to do this until I run out of yarn. So I'm going to keep going and just go until I'm completely out of the yarn. Now this is an easy level shawl, and it really doesn't give you a pattern. It just gives you the picture pattern, you know, the graph, how to make it. It doesn't tell you line by line, row by row. And does it tell me what it's made out of, this yarn? I'm not sure. It's Katya Neon. Katya? I think that's how you would pronounce it. It's probably on the ball band. Yeah. Silly, silly me. It's 50% cotton, 50% acrylic. And it's called Katya Neon Nonstop Creativity. There is 874 yards, and the color is 505. Here's a better look at the color that I have left. Okay. Now this little bag, if you're wondering, I just picked it up at my local secondhand store. It was like $1.99. You can't go wrong with that. So, all right, my next WIP, guys, is something I'm excited about too. It is for my youngest son for Christmas or his birthday. His birthday is next month, so I'm not sure. I could get it done no problem, but I think I'd be more excited to gift it to him if we can be all together for Christmas this year. So he asked me a year ago to find him a pattern because I made him a beaver before. Maybe I'll put a picture of his beaver up here. It was 33 pieces. It was a German pattern, but translated to English. Loved it. Frustrating, but loved it. Loved how it turned out. But when I gifted him that, he says, "Oh, next, Mom, I need a mole." And I'm like, a mole? Where the heck do I find a mole pattern? I looked for a year and never found a mole. He said mole or a groundhog. So I couldn't find either. So I ended up finding one that was perfect. So I don't know if this was new just within the last 6 months or something, and that's why I didn't find it over a year ago. But I found it, and it is perfect. My youngest son's name, if I haven't said already, his name is Cole. And I found a pattern that's Cole the Mole, it's called. It's actually Cole the Mining Mole, but I'm going to tell you why it's not. This one's not going to be called Cole the Mining Mole. So here is Cole the Mole. And it's, right now, as it sits, it's a mining mole, but I'm going to make him a mechanic mole. So a little mechanic mole plus toss in some camo. Why? Because that's what guys around here wear. And so he's going to have a little camo vest on, a little camo hat, and then he's going to probably still have the ball peen hammer because my son does use that in his toolbox anyways. So I used a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook because I used a chunkier number 4 weight yarn. So the last amigurumi, the Wizard, you've seen, was a very small, thin weight number 4 weight yarn. So when I did my gauge swatch for the mole, I realized that I needed a larger hook because it was a little too tight. Once you get a little too tight for amigurumi, it's not as soft, the toy itself. So I wanted it to be a little on the softer side. So here is those things I stick in the neck, so if you are interested. See, it's just this. So what I normally do, if it's a tall enough amigurumi, I will put it right in. So this is halfway in its neck. This was its neck. This would be in its body, this would be in its head, so it would prevent the head from flopping, right? So in the mole, I'm thinking I'm going to do it even harder because its neck area is larger. I'm going to either double it like this, or I'm going to use 2 of them to insert, okay? So I wanted to show you that. I had that left in the bag. I am using, for the mole, it's a very large mole too. I thought it was small. And I might run into trouble with this because I went to my local Michael's where I got the yarn, and because I only have 2 balls of it, they don't have this yarn anymore. It's discontinued. It's Vanna's Choice, line brand Vanna's Choice. Okay, in the colorway Barley. Now, they have one similar, but it's a darker brown, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. I probably could get away with using it if I run out around his muzzle and do his muzzle as a different color, I'm okay with that. But I'm hoping this one ball is enough to do his whole head and his muzzle and his ears. Fingers crossed. So here is Cole, the binding. I have, what do I have here? I have his arms done. These are his arms, so they're already, I'm on the row where you add the arms on. So here it is. This is how large it is. It's the size of my head, just his belly. Little legs. So what you do is you crochet the legs first, and then you're going to add them as you go in the round. Now look at his tail, guys. Cute tail, cute bum. So I'm at the row where the pattern has you actually just crochet around, and you're adding the arms as you crochet around. Could not get any easier than that. That's so brilliant. So this one I stuffed nice and stuffed, so he has a little pot belly on him, like a little mole. And yeah, so I'm really, really excited, and I can't wait to see his reaction when he actually gets his mole. I'm wondering if he forgot about it even, that he asked, because he didn't ask me on Christmas if I did it or not, so we will see. Just seeing if there's another picture of him. Oh yeah, there's a backpack too. He's wearing some sort of backpack. I'm not too sure about the backpack part doing that, but I may not. I'll see. But it is being housed in just a bag, another beautiful wicker bag I got from the secondhand store. And I might do what Elise had mentioned with the other bag. I might pull this Hawaii out. I've never been to Hawaii, so I don't need it there. And put Naughty Yarnies on there. I might do the same thing. I already bought the embroidery thread to do it. So there we go. That is another WIP. Now I have 2 more crochet WIPs. And I think I'll talk about my one from Kayla Osborne first. It is a test crochet. I haven't even started, but I want to show you the yarn and show you the pattern. And I didn't even know I was allowed to talk about it. Might not be able to, but she has the photo on her Instagram already, and it's all over Facebook. So I don't see a problem in me showing you my color and spreading the word, because I'm obsessed with her patterns. Like, I don't know if she believes how obsessed I am, because she has a separate testing group in Facebook, and it's a private group, like, but it's on Messenger, so it's not even a group on actual Facebook. It's like Messenger. And I just told everybody, if you've never tested for Kayla before, please note she's amazing, an amazing, amazing designer to test for, because she's there all the time. If you have questions, she's there. If you have concerns, she's there. Like, she gets her messages right away. She answers you right away. It's awesome. And her patterns are so well written. Love it. So here is the sweater that I'm doing. I'm testing the size extra large because boobies. It's called Film Noir Twist. Now, I don't think you've ever seen anything like this out there, especially in crochet. And Kayla is Kayla Osborne of Spring into Fall Designs. Now, this is a two color design. You could do a single color, which I'm going to do. And there is no seaming in it whatsoever. It's all in one piece. So here is a photo of the sweater. So sorry about it being not on an actual person. When I print out pages and pages of a pattern, especially for testing, I sit there on my iPad and I take screenshots, and then I color with white anything that I don't want to use ink on. So I white out all the part, like this was a big picture and there was a tree and bushes, and I don't need to have all that greenery behind. So I just want a picture of the actual sweater itself, and that's how I do it, to save some ink. So I probably end up getting about 10 or 20 extra pages from doing that, especially with ones that show a whole big picture and just a little wee photo in the middle. So here's the color I'm using. This is a big, I have a bag full, I don't know how much I'm going to use. She does her size, and I believe it's 2X, and she has written down how much material you'd need for that size. So she doesn't know how much material until all our testers are finished that you will use. So I always make sure to have, for her size, the 2X plus a little more, just in case. So here is my bag full of this yarn. It's all the same color. It probably, because of the lighting, looks different, but it's coming off red. It's not red. It's like a deep burgundy. Like, let's see if I can maybe, oh, there you go. That's how it looks. It's burgundy, and I figured burgundy is a beautiful, nice color, or something I haven't used yet, and I have enough of it. So this is Simply Soft, Karen Simply Soft. It's just Millens from Karen Simply Soft. So her pattern calls for a DK weight yarn, and her pattern calls for a 5mm crochet hook. But because I've tested for Kayla before, I know from experience that I am a looser crocheter than her. So I have to go up a needle size, no, I have to go down a needle size than her. And this time I actually have to go up a material size. So instead of DK, I'm using Karen Simply Soft, but if anybody's ever used it, it's on the lower end of 4. So it's more like a thick 3. So that's kind of on the border, but so I'm using that anyway. So my gauge worked out and it was 4 inches perfect. So that's what I'm going to be using. So I'm going to be starting that this weekend, and I can't wait. She also gives you a long time to do it, just in case we run into snafus. So I don't have to have this done till September 20th, which is my son's birthday, my youngest son. So I've got a long time, so I thought I would wait until I showed you guys what I was doing. I guess I could show as I go, just to show. I will wait though for the finished object, unless she posts them on Instagram and stuff before that date, but I will show you my finished project after the 20th if I'm allowed to. I don't want to do that. I just know that I seen what I showed you. It's all over Instagram already, so in her testing, call for testers. So, and I just have it in a bag that I got from Avon years ago. Okay. And that will be a paid for pattern eventually, and she's on Ravelry, and you can find her on Instagram, Facebook, wherever you like. And my last crochet project, that's a WIP, is pretty awesome. You would have seen it in my last podcast, the yarn, because the yarn was Peyton's Bohemian, and I do have a ball that I should show. Peyton's Bohemian, if you will remember, I got 20 balls of this when I was at Wool Time in Ottawa, so my local to me yarn store, which is 2 hours away, but that's the stuff I got, and it's beautiful. It is called Hypnotic Haze, so 20 balls of this. So what I did, I wanted to knit this, it's a blanket. Spoiler alert. I wanted to knit it. It's going to be for my nephew for Christmas. Shh. I don't think they watch this. And he was the only one I didn't get a chance to make a blanket for last year. I've made him a blanket. I made him a huge Spider-Man blanket. Maybe I'll insert a photo here. Hope I remember. And he's the one I told the story before that he ended up, his dog catching her nail and pulling and got a hole in the Spider-Man blanket, and then I asked him what he wanted on, because I couldn't fix it. It was so many ends. So I ended up putting a spider, crocheting a spider. So you'll see a spider, but I had to have one on each side so to block in all those loose ends, right? So he's the same nephew. So now he's getting bigger. He's in his teens, and he's needs a new blanket. He needs a man-sized blanket now. So 20 of these guys, they're all, they're number 6 weight yarn, 87% polyester, 13% acrylic, totally washable, and it is 80 grams, where's the length? That's what I'm looking for. It's only 68 yards per ball. And also, it says to use a 6 or 8 millimeter knitting needle or crochet hook, but what am I using? Oh, but before I even started thinking about a pattern, when I did my last video, I was mentioning that I wanted to do this, and I wasn't sure if I was doing crochet or knit, but Carrie Alfieri, thank you, thank you, thank you. She saved me from doing a gauge swatch at 8 millimeters. Saved me. Because she put in the comment section down below of my other video when I purchased this to go up to a 15 millimeter. This is a 15 millimeter. Look how much more huge this is than an 8 millimeter. This works. So, but I wanted to knit it. I tried knitting it and I just didn't have this size of knitting needle, unfortunately. I just had a straight one and that's it. So I didn't have anything above a 10 millimeter for a knitting with a cable. So all my interchangeables were no good because they only go up. My largest set is the Chow and it goes up to 10 millimeter. My Addie's Rocket Squared only go up to 8 millimeters. So, and it would have been tight, and I did a gauge swatch and it would have been small. Like I could do the math. So I knew how much weight, like I did one whole ball and seen what it measured, multiply by 20, and I didn't even have close to enough. So I knew I had to crochet it, which is fine now that I'm doing it up, because I know that it looks great and I know it feels great because I have it draped on me and it's addicting to crochet. I'm loving it. There's so much love in this blanket. It's ridiculous because I love my nephew. He's also my godson and I want to spoil him. So this is going to be just, of course, one of his gifts. So I'll put this ball and this stuff back in here. It is being homed in my beautiful tote that I showed you the last time, this leather from Italy tote that I also got at the dollar store, or not the dollar store, the secondhand store. It was only $10 and I had a discount of 30% off. So it ended up being $7. So here it is. I got really, really far, guys. And I'm doing it nice and big. Where am I here? So here we go. So there's the there's the bottom. And all the way down. And it is from my fingertip to my other fingertip wide so far. And if you know, fingertip to fingertip, like your middle finger to middle finger, is how tall you are. So I'm 5'7". So as this sits, it's 5'7" wide. And it is, well, it's to my ankle, sitting like this. So he can be, like his dad's 6 foot, I think, or 5'11". So it's going to be very long. It'll be double the length of this because I've already used 10 balls. And I'm also putting a border around it. So that's going to make it the 6 foot it needs to be the width. And it's going to be a little bit longer in the length as well. Like if I get it obsessively long, I'm obviously going to use a ball or two less if needed. But if I did my my gauge swatch the way I properly should have, it should work out to be just exactly what I wanted because I did all the math, and I might do a video on how to do math with a gauge. So if that interests you to know how to do say you have X amount of balls of yarn and you're going to be using this hook or this needle, knitting or crocheting, how to know what size to make. If a video like that you would love to know. I don't usually see these things. These are things that are in my head, guys. Honestly, this is the stuff that I've learned over the years and that I would love to share the knowledge with you guys if you're interested. If you're not interested, that's okay too. I just feel that if people are interested to know this stuff, I'd love to share the information with you because these are the things that help me learn and become a better crafter, knitter, crocheter, and in the end, you're not doing any waste, you're not having any leftovers, which you don't want, and you're using every bit up that you need because you're doing a gauge swatch. So it won't be a whole project that I'll be making along with you. It would be teaching you how to use up as much of that yarn that you have to make whatever it is you need, or to figure out how much more you're going to need to purchase. So that is all for my crochet section. So if you would like to stick around for my knitted section, please do. I would love it if you do, because I have some beautiful, beautiful knit stuff. Did I say crochet a minute ago? It's my knit section. So if that interests you, please stick around. If not, fast forward to my happy mails and my happy wife, happy life section. I would love it if you stuck around, because I have so much more to talk about. You've probably seen the time-wise. I'm getting dry, but I didn't want to leave any part of it out. I wanted you along for the ride. It was a nice sunny day, beautiful lighting in here. I'm in a really terrific place right now in my head and in my heart, and I've had a rough month, but I just wanted to come and share all my joy stuff with you. So here's my knitted section. So I'm going to timestamp so that I know when I'm editing, when I'm pointing, it means something. So this is my welcome to my knit section. So my first part is my knit FOs. So my knitted FOs, I technically have, well, I can't really say technically, because socks is a pair. Is it technically one project or two? Because they're two separate things, but I don't know. Probably one, because people considered one sock a hoe, which is a half object. So two would be one project. So I'll start off with something I don't have, and I will try to get a picture of my cat laying on it and insert it here. So I made that little white kind of blanket mat type thing. He loves those. I get these at the secondhand store. They're all brand new in the package for $1.99 for these ginormous, I think they're loops and thread, yep, loops and thread yarn, and on the label it says to use 11.5 millimeter crochet hook, which I showed you for that other blanket. But look how thick this yarn is. It's so much thicker than that stuff I was doing for my nephew. So think of how thick this is, and this is the color. It's white. It is solid white. This has in it, how much? 100 yards only. And I did the same thing. I did a little gauge swatch, and I knew how big I could make it, like how wide, how much cast on I could do, so that it was the length that I wanted. I still have a little bit left, but the only reason I did this was because I have another ball of gray, and I wanted the white to trim it out when I do the gray one, because the gray one I'm going to crochet it, and if you know anything about crochet, it takes up more yarn, so it's going to be smaller if I didn't have a border on it. So that's why I kept this. So when I did this, where did I put those? Oh, I was so organized up until this point. So I ended up using 25 millimeter, which is a US 50. I don't know if that's coming in, but knitting needles. So I cast it on 25 stitches with the long tail cast on. No, I lied. I didn't, because I didn't know how many arm lengths I should do. I did the cast on method, where you just do the little end and then you go to knit the stitch, and instead of knitting the other one off, you just add it on. So you keep knitting one and then twisting it and then putting it on the needles. So I did that stitch, and that's how I did his cat bed. So he loves it. He's all snuggled up in it all the time and loves them. So that's why I keep making them, because he loves them so darn much. I made the dog a bed once, and the cat took it over. So now I just make the mats, because they're so much quicker, and he loves them just the same anyway. So my next FO is using the opal yarn. Thank you very, very much, Asa, for letting me know about that it's superwash. I did not know that, and Asa had let me know, so I appreciate that. It's using this opal yarn in this color. And I did not know that they used yellow at the beginning of all their skeins as like kind of throwaway, I guess, or save it for something because you're supposed to not use the yellow part. But I didn't know that. I just learned that off of Christy Glass Knits was interviewing Simply Socks, or I think it's Simply Socks in the States. And she had mentioned that opal was, yeah, the yellow part is meant to just so you know, so you can make matching socks after the yellow starts. But I didn't know that. But there's yellow in this pattern, so I did this pair for my son for Christmas, his first pair for Christmas. I did 64 stitches, 2x2 rib. I used my interchangeable, yes, my interchangeable 2.25 9-inch circulars of Chow and I did a heel flap, heel turn gusset. I do 60 rows down and I do 60 across the foot before the toe decreases. Then I just do the regular, you know, the regular shaped toe at the end. When you guys seen it last, I showed you a finished one. Then the next one I showed you was just to here. So I do cuff down and I did all the way past the heel, which I don't like the heel part, but my son loves how the heel flap and gusset feels on his feet. I finished all that. I was almost past the gusset part and I went to match them to see how they looked and they didn't match up. The heels didn't look the same at all. And I went, what did I do? Well, it turned out I ended up only doing 50 rows on the second sock on the leg instead of 60. So I had to rip it all back and to where I started the heel, of course, only, and then do it again. So I did this sock almost twice completely. It's like, oh my gosh. But look how close they are. Like, they match. I'm pretty impressed. This is only my second pair of socks that I did. I'm pretty impressed with myself. So, and these are on my little secondhand store blockers. Got them for $1.99. I got 4 sets now. This is my smaller set and my other set is a extra large. This is a size large, so I'm going to keep on watching for them. So keep on getting them because they're great. They're airy, so when you block your socks you can put them on wet and they have lots of room to breathe around and dry. So those are for my oldest son for Christmas by his request. My next FO, my Vertices Unite by Stephen West. Look at this beauty. I am so proud of this. If you see some ends sticking out, sorry, it's not blocked yet. I need to put it on the blocking mats yet. And so what I do is I leave my tails, like I weave it in. I do the weave in Stephen method, but I also, for insurance, I do another few weave-ins, okay, after, and then I block it. And then after I block it, then I snip the ends. I don't snip until after I block it, just in case. So this was the Stephen West Vertices Unite. I made lots of notes on my paper because this was my first, well, I made a sweater before for my mom, but this was one of my first shawls that I followed along without a video, I guess is what you'd say. Her sweater had a video. The Cozy Up Knits, I did their knit along with their shawl in the spring, and it had videos accompaniment, so I kind of had that to go with it. So this was the first thing I did without a video teaching me what the pattern was saying. So here is this is a large version, okay, and it's on a 3.5 millimeter knitting needles. I used my Addie's Rocket Squared for a while, and then I realized that with fingering yarn, it's catching on my connection. So I switched to my ChowGoos, which I felt bad because my husband bought me the Addy Rocket Squared. But I will use them on things that aren't fingering anymore because it snagged so much. I was so distraught by that. But here is the small version of the Vertices Unite. So this yellow section that you see here is this blue section. Okay, so I will talk you through this. Oh, it's warm. I have this on, and then I have this underneath. So the section 1, and I will try to explain and tell you. So this will be a long section discussing this because I want to tell you everything I know, and then I have this for future. So if I make another one, I can go back and remember and jog my memory of what I did. So this is section 1, this purple, this part here, all this luscious part. It is a large section. So it starts there and goes way down. And when you're get to the part where there's so many, I'm not going to give away the pattern, but there's so many stitches on your needles, then you start decreasing, and the decreases go a lot faster than the increases did, which makes it more a kite-like or more asymmetrical. Now you can take this pattern and make this one section a whole entire shawl all by itself. You really could. Now in this section he has you use 2 different colorways. Now you could just do one, you could do more, I guess, but I chose to use a solid so that this whole shawl is mostly my handmade yarns, my hand dyed yarns, but I used a solid so that my solid was this purple was loops and thread. I will show you that wool like. It's super soft. It's a little bit thinner than my fingering hand dyed yarn, so you can see that. Here is the section's colors. Oh, do I have any of it left? I barely have any left, and I'll tell you why in a minute. So the purple is called Purple of the Loops and Thread Wool Like. Okay, and then this is all I have left. I played Yarn Chicken of my hand dyed for that section, and so that was for that section 1. So Stephen West has you pick your favorite 2 colors for section 1. He describes it as you're going on a yarn date, these 2 colors, and they need to blend well together, and they need to hit it off, and they need to look spectacular. So that's what this is the couple going on a yarn date. And then the next section he has you do is the one alongside here, and it is the chaperones. Okay, so you want them to look a little nice, but not to overtake on the couple. You know, you want them to be nice but subtle. So I chose this dusty pink, thanks to you guys helping me pick out which color I would use with my smoky gray hand dyed yarn. So those colors. Oh, here's the dusty pink. It's wool like as well. And here is the gray that I did along with it. Whoops. It's grays with some blues and greens in it. I think it's blowing out from the sun, just came blaring out like crazy. So here's the 2 of them together. They really complement each other. Oh, and this is just a little bag that I made. It's kind of like what Chevy Rell would call a yarn condom, and you can tighten it as your ball gets smaller and smaller so that your cake stays in place. I have another one here. I made 2, and it's being housed in a bag I got at, you guessed it, the secondhand store. It has pockets on the outside, the inside, all over the place. So section 3 was this big section, was it 1, 2, yes, section 3 was this big area. So after you did the first 2, you'll notice a V here. See the V? Right? So you'll see the V. Well, this section, you start in this corner and you're picking up as you go along to do that large section. And I thought section 1 everybody said was large, but I found this one took me the longest. This one took me a whole entire week and a half, just this section to do itself. Now I did this for the Hustlers Unite Cal, being hosted by Aaron and Chip at the Fiber Hustle. And so I really wanted to do it along. So I waited until after our Cal collab was over to even start this. So I was booting my butt. So I had 1 week for each section to do. So that was pushing my luck. But there's the third section. So this was called, as Stephen West says, the entertainment of the night. So one skein of yarn that you want to pop and to stand out and to be, ooh, was that. So I just loved how the teal, my favorite color is purple. So there's purple in all the sections, but I wanted that teal to bring out all the purple for the rest of the shawl. So that's why I chose that color here. And this is all I have left of that color. And I have it in one of those little bags that I made for my cakes. So my next section was section 4. And it's adding some on as well. Here we go. And that's a striped section. And I mixed up the colors. He called for colors. What did he call for colors? Color A and C, or A and B, or no, wouldn't be A and B. A and C or A and D, something like that. But I ended up choosing, I ended up choosing just, was it this section first or this one? Wait a second here, guys. Okay, I'm not sure which one came first. Oh, it must be this section. Okay, so this section here, I can't remember if this was to be striped. 1 second. There was another section that was supposed to be striped. Okay, the middle. I was middle. 4, 5, 6. Okay, so this is section 4. This gray. So this is the color that I have being held with the pink on the bottom. So I won't showcase that. And then section 5, yep, he has you stripe them. So I just striped the pretty wool-like together, the purple and the dusty rose color. And then section 6 was that beautiful pink, purple, turquoise color that I had in section 1 with the purple. I learned so much on this one, guys. Some spots he has you do the whole section and then pick up along the edges. No, he doesn't have you pick up. I guess you cast off and then you put it on hold. I think there was 2 on holds for the shawl, and then when you go pick up for the I-cord edging all around, you have 2 sections that you don't have to pick up because they're on hold. So I'm going to tell you a little trick after with my in my section called Happy Wife, Happy Life. So that will help you if you ever do this shawl or any piece of garment that you have something that needs to be on a set of cables and you don't have enough cables, or you're just going to use spare yarn. This works way easier and cheaper. So remember that, because I'm going to show it to you after. The reason I needed those, this thing I'm going to show you, is because I had long, like I have 50-inch cables. I have 6 of them for my Addy Rocket Squared. But as I said, the join just isn't very comfortable at all, right? And to put it on my needles, I didn't want to do that. And I didn't have tip stoppers, so for the yarn falling off of it, it would have fell off because I don't have those. My Chow Goos, I don't have enough cords to leave it on my cords. I have the end stoppers for those, but I don't have enough cords and joiners to have them waiting on a shawl until I was done. So they would have had to sit there for like, it was like a month and a half or something, right? So I didn't have that. So he has you do the I-cord edging with using, what color? The border, D. So my border, my D is the gray with speckles. So this beautiful section here to do the border, which turned out beautifully. And I did that on purpose because I wanted this specific color for the border to kind of, I didn't want it to stand out. I wanted it to be real subtle, but I wanted it to match everything. So it, of course, looked good on itself, but then it'll look really lovely trim color to have mixed with all the colors. It really stood out, I found, in this section. Just beautiful. So that's made with my own hand-dyed yarn. I loved the whole process. It's like garter knitting, and I loved it. Like, loved it. It is super, super long. Like, there's my, okay, it's on my fingertip there, and it's still not on my fingertip there. I still have this much beyond my fingertip. So I would say this is a good 8-9 foot. So a great, as Stephen West would call it, schlanket. You can cover up, drape it around yourself. Oh, it's just luscious. I'm in love with this. I'm addicted. I can't wait to make another. I might even make one in worsted weight or DK weight yarn, because up in here in Canada, it gets quite cool. Also, another thing to note, when I did sections 1, 2, and 3, which is these 3 sections, 1, 2, no, 1, 2, yeah, 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, so this gray section, this yellow section, and then this stripy one. When I had just those 3 sections done, it was like a kite. Like, it was like another asymmetrical shawl, just having section 1 was. So next time I might make, using the larger yarn, and I might just do those 3 sections, and that's it, and do that and have a big shawl. I might also do a thicker I-cord. I learned how to do a thicker I-cord, and I might also include that instead of the thinner one. The I-cord, just so you know, I spent 8.5 hours it took me to do the I-cord edging, and that was including picking up around the whole shawl though. So I picked up around the whole entire shawl and knit, do the I-cord edging. Didn't, like, I timed myself, but I didn't sit there and go, oh, when is this going to be done? When is this going to be done? Because that would have made it seem like it took forever. Oh, so I love this. Now I'm addicted to shawl knitting. My 3rd and 4th are a set for my finished objects in knitting, but it also has, oh no, I have one more before that. Also, it also has a WIP with it, so I'll finish the one thing and then I'll show you the set, because the 2 parts of it, it's a hat, cowl, and fingerless mitts, the other part, but I don't have the fingerless mitts done, but I have the other 2. They're totally finished. But here is my next finished object. I did for the hashtag NATR Boys 2021 with Kevin and Ray at Needles at the Ready, and they're doing a knit along that is any, I guess it's knit along, crochet along. Use any men hand dyer yarn, men patterns, or gifts for a man. So this was for using up, well, it's just Red Heart Landscape or something. Yeah, Landscape. And it was using the Ross hat pattern. So this is it. The only thing I change on Ross hat pattern is I find it easier to do a 2x2 ribbing instead of his 3x1, because I go 1, 2, 3, 4 instead of knit, purl, or knit, knit, purl, purl as I'm thinking about the pattern. So I just go 1, 2, 3, 4. I know if I'm on 1 or 2, I'm on knits because I've did it forever like that. So that's why I did it. The only other thing I did, I do a purl row as my first row, just for it to stand out a little bit. There's 2 reasons. So there's my purl row, okay, after my ribbing. It stands out a little bit, but also if I was to decide to fold it up, it just has that nice line to fold. I didn't make it long enough to be folded up. As you can see, it's short, but I just do that. I just do I just like it. I don't know how to explain it. I just like doing that. The purl row like that. I do that with my socks too. Do the first row purl, and then you also can't tell where the yarn, if you wanted to change yarn colors, you can't tell that as well either. So on to my next hat, which is also, I could put the hat in for because it's another Ross hat. I forgot to do the purl bump row on this one though. I left that out, but this one I used, oh, where's my yarn for it? Oh, here we go. I'm using, because it has a whip already, it has a whip, right? I'm using this Eco Calm Stripes Loops and Thread, 433 yards. And it's a colorway called Unicorn Party. And I purchased this, it was on clearance because we're selling out of it. And I knew that much yardage, I could knit myself a hat and a cowl. But then I was left with so much, I'm like, I could do fingerless mitts yet with it because it's for myself because of the colors. So these are totally up my alley. So there's my hat. I'd put it on, guys, but it is super duper warm. Oh, maybe no, my hair will go crazy. Yeah, so there's my Ross hat. And then I made up my own pattern for a cowl. So I just did my own little thing. And these are both using, his Ross hat calls for a different size needle set, but I used a 4mm knitting needle interchangeable with a 16-inch cord for this and for this, the same size. So you can imagine how beautiful that will look on. And then I started, because I had enough yarn left, like look how much yarn I have left. I have a bunch, and I have it in this pretty little bag that I just got from the secondhand store again. See a theme here? So I made up my own pattern. I couldn't find a fingerless mitt pattern that I wanted to do, and I thought I would make one that I could share with you guys eventually. So I made one for beginner friendly so that it's made in the round and you can made flat so you can easily figure out your size and go from there. It'll be super, super duper easy. So here's what I have first. Okay, so it's made on flat. So I'm using circulars, you could tell, but it's going to be sewn together. So my hand will be in there. That part's my wrist. See, for my wrist, and I'm working on this part yet, and then I'm going to do a cuff at the other end as well. That'll be sewn together, and then there will be a spot for my thumb to come out, and I may add instructions in there to make a little cap or little sleeve part for my thumb. I'm not sure, but that could be a little bonus part of the pattern. I don't know. I just kind of made this up last night myself. When you can't find a pattern that suits what your need is and what you want, go outside the box and try it. Worst thing could happen is it doesn't work out and you rip it all out and try again. So never fear that. Okay, that's it for my knitting finished objects. Now that was a whip, but that was my introduction to the whip section. So my next whip will be another hat. There's not many more left, guys. There is only 1, Oh, I'm missing something. There's three things left. That's it. But my one thing I'll have to go get. So this next one is being housed in a little handmade bag. I don't know who made it though. And it's using this yarn called Powdery. It's 126 yards. It's 85% acrylic, 15% nylon. It would make great slipper yarn too because it has the nylon in it. But here's the beautiful yarn. The color is brown. That's kind of boring. My last video that I recorded that I threw out had so much stuff that I had purchased, like that yarn in it, and I just trashed it. It doesn't matter. I'll just show it as I find it, right? So here is what I was making, and I was trying. This was one thing I was mentioning to you, that try, if you don't like it, rip it out. So that's what I'm going to do. So I thought I would make myself a hat, which I love the hat. I love the feel of it. I love the thickness. I did a really, really high brim because I wanted a tall, tall brim doubled on my ears for the winter because it gets cold here. But I thought I would try out a different pattern with pearl bumps. And I kept going and thought it would get nicer looking, but I'm not. I'm just not here for it. I don't care for it. Yeah, I'm just not feeling it. So I'm going to rip back all the way to where I started the pearl bumps and then just finish on just normal. I don't know, I'm a plain knit stitch girl. Like, give me stockinette stitch look. I love that look. That's for me. That's why I love the Stephen West Vertices Unite. I love the garter stitch. I love the stockinette stitch, all that. So I'm using my ChowGoo interchangeables. This is a, oh my goodness, I need, on the large size cables, and an 8-inch cable, the large size, and these are my 10 millimeter. Yep, 10 millimeter needles. I'm also going to be having a video out in the next few weeks talking about all different knitting needle sets, and like I'll have all my ChowGoos at one part of the video, and then I'll go into, or vice versa, I'll go into my Addy Rocket Squared and then my cheaper versions of the ones too. They're all interchangeables. I just want to talk about them and what their pluses and minuses all are. So if that's what you would like to hear, stick around and I will show you that. And my next WIP is using Patons, however you say it, I say Patons, Crochet socks in the colorway of Eclipse Stripes. And they're another pair for my son, my oldest son. And this colorway is, oh, I just said Eclipse Stripes. So I got a bag of these from Wool Time in Ottawa to make my son's socks for Christmas. So I got a bag of them. There were six in a bag. And it's being housed in just a handmade bag by Family Gathering, made in Canada. Just a canvas drawstring bag. And I am up to the toe part. This one I'm doing 72 stitches around, 2x2 ribbing, still 60 on the leg, and I'm using still 2.25 millimeter knitting needles, but these ones are the loops and thread. I have it in my notes here, loops and thread. Yeah, I guess it's just loops and thread. The 29-inch cord, 2.25. And here's how they striped up, or how it's striping up so far. I love Crochet socks. They're so, like, they're awesome. Like, the colorways are great. The yarn is a little bit on the fluffier side than the hand-dyed fingering weight yarns that I use. But so I'm just on the heel. You'll notice a theme here. Gets to the heel part and I pause. So those are for my oldest son. He's a size 12 men's, so they're large. My next one is being housed in Wild Woolly handmade bag that I got from Joanne. She's on Etsy. You can find her there. She has glorious, glorious bags. So well made. I rave about her all the time. Got my little pin collection on the bag. It's got a drawstring so that there's no zippers to get caught. I love that. There's a zipper section inside, but she's got all different designs on her. She's got ones that glow in the dark even, like, just obsessed. So this is my gym bag. So I've got a bunch of like headphones in here and you name it, I got it in here. But I'm using today, I am using Desert Vista Dye Works that I won from Cherry Pie Cottage for a MAL, a crochet or knit along. And the colorway Zombody Needs a Cocktail. Okay, so this is a fingering weight yarn. It's super wash. And I'm just doing myself a pair of socks. So I'm using my Chow Goos. I'm doing magic loop for these as well. I should have mentioned that the last pair for my son. I usually do 9-inch circulars, but I wanted to go outside my comfort zone and do a few pairs of magic loop. And that's why I think I'm paused on them, because I have to watch a video on how to do the heel on magic loop. Pretty sure I know how, but just to make sure. So here's how far mine have come. 2.25 millimeter Chow Goos, long, I think they're 40-inch cable. I did 72-inch or 72 stitches around my ankle, because I find sometimes my ankles get swollen, so I wanted to make sure that I could wear them. So here is what it looks like. And I put the stitch markers every 10 rows, just like Kay does, the Crazy Sock Lady. Because these are my gym socks. I sit there on the recumbent bike and I do the bike for either an hour to 2 hours, depending on the day. So I already lifted my weights, but I'm warming down and I just sit there and do the recumbent bike, and I got my sock in my hand. So this is like last weekend's work. So just sitting on the bike, I did all this, except the cuff. The cuff I did at home. I did the cuff only 10 rows, I think, because I was going to start and do a shorty. And then I didn't have anything that was stockinette stitch round and round and round for the gym. So I turned them into going to be long socks. So that's, if you're noticing the cuff isn't very long, you can play with stuff like that. Like, you don't have to do 20 rows of ribbing if you don't want to. Do your own thing. You don't even need ribbing. I've seen socks with no ribbing on it even before. Don't know how they would fit or if they'd fall off, but do your thing. Like, if it makes you happy, do you. That's what matters. Okay, so my next section, that's it for WIPS, I believe. Just make sure it is. That's it for WIPS. So right now I wanted to show you, I want to do a little bragging and show you my, I dyed some hand-dyed cotton a long time ago. Well, not that long ago, it was last year, but one of my winners for my Barb's Turn 50 Mal was Nara from Nara's Crochet, and she sent me a photo of her using that skein of yarn. Look what she did. Didn't it turn out beautiful? So that's the middle part of that shirt is the yarn that I had sent her for the giveaway. Turned out beautiful, Nara. I was so excited to see the picture. Thank you for sharing it, and thank you so much. I'm honored that you even took the time to send me a picture of you using the item that I had gifted you. So I was so happy. I asked her permission if I could show the photo, so you know. And she said, kindly said yes. First I'm going to do my Happy Mail. because I got 2 parcels in the mail. Woohoo! Of course, I opened them by now. I didn't have them open. I opened them for the last video that I deleted. So now they're open, but I get to show you. So the first parcel comes from Cheryl and Louise from Fiber Friends podcast. And this is, I won their amigurumi mal. So you had to do an amigurumi and then they picked the winner. So this is what I won. Beautifully packed, by the way, Cheryl. Oh, did I put, I bet you I put this, I won a stitch marker as well. Oh, it's in there. Here's the stitch marker. It says My Needle Crafts, and that's Cheryl's Instagram, and her Etsy store, okay, is My Needle Crafts. Here's the bee. Stitch marker, Progress Keeper. And she sews these beautiful notions pouches too. And Louise has Wildflower Wool as well, a podcast, if you want to go check that out as well. See, it has her My Needle Crafts inside. Beautiful, beautiful, Cheryl. Thank you so much. And now I can use it. Yay, because I don't like to use something until I show it on the podcast. Then my next one was from Bingo, from Fiber Hustle Bingo, from Pride Month. So I won Get Knit Faced, a rainbow colorway. I don't, it'll probably have it on it. And this came super duper fast, guys. Really fast. I was surprised. So you get a sticker, Fiber Hustle sticker, which I will put on my bottle. And the yarn I won was colorway. It was called, oh, Pride. 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. It's a DK weight 4-ply. 245 yards in 100 grams. And it is luscious. Gorgeous. Just beautiful. I hear about this company all the time on Boozy Bear podcast because Vince and Justin love their yarn too, so I'm sure I'm going to love it as well. It's so nice, so squishy. So now, if you have any ideas of what to make with this, or you've used it, I'd love to see what it turns out like. I just want this most special project when I get one skeins like this. It's like I just want it to be perfect. So go check out Fiber Hustle on the YouTubes and follow them on Instagram and all the places as well to find out when their next bingo is, and you too could be a winner. So I won one line and that's what I received. That was my second win with them. I guess I'm just lucky at bingo. I don't know. I'm just lucky, I guess. So thank you guys. Thank you again, Cheryl and Louise as well. Next up, what should I talk about? Okay, I got just a few things to show you. So Happy Wife, Happy Life section, which basically means like things that my hubby had purchased for me, thinking that I deserve it, I guess. So the first thing up is Michael's. I don't know if my video 4 weeks ago showed some stuff that was clearance and I was like, what are they doing? Are they closing or what's going on? But I guess it was to make room for new things coming out. And one of their new things coming out is these little project bags. And they're totally reversible. I've always wanted one of these bags that you could put a sock project in and throw it over your wrist. And then you could have the yarn coming out. So these were only $8.99 and I used a 30% off coupon. So I got $2.70 off of that. If you want to do the math, go right ahead. Yeah, so it's so darn cute. I liked the other section out myself because I liked the polka dots. Yeah, I found that too much flowers for me on the other side, I guess. So I will use it this way. That's my preference. So he bought me that. Also, I got a microphone for the podcast. from Amazon, I couldn't plug it in my camera. I have to do a lot more investigating because the little thingies that I plugged it in and I did my podcast, and the last time 2 weeks ago I had this, and there was no sound at first either. Like, I knew that. I tested it for 2 minutes. There was no sound. So I didn't, of course, continue with it in. So I've got to figure out what I can do, what settings I have to change on my camera to allow me to use the microphone. It's a corded microphone, but that's fine. I don't go very far. At least you can see I'm nice and close to the camera. So I can't wait to try that out, but I got to figure it out first. Next, I got this from in a magazine, in Simply Knitting magazine. They had mitten blockers. Okay, and they come with, don't forget the thumbs. So you could attach, there's a hole here, and you attach the thumb part, the wooden thumb part here. But I was like, no, what I always wanted was one of those kind of sock blockers, but you put it in as you go so you could just measure it by that. So what I did was I took them and I wrote on the back a measuring gauge. And then I will put each of our foot lengths on here. So I'll put Barb's foot length, stop here. Ryan's foot length, stop here. Cole's, you know, like, etc. And put it on here so when I'm doing them, I could tell where to stop. And I just know where to stop. So I was so excited to find these in the magazine. So I have the magazine, so I may as well have these, right? I'm not sure if I did show these before, but I wanted to show what I did with them. So, because I know I didn't show you that part. Next, I want to show you, I got these from Michael's. These are, they're punches. They're leather punches. So this is a letter set, and this is a number set. And they're 3 millimeters. The number set has 33 uppercase letters, and they're 3 millimeters each one, and there's some symbols in it as well. And then the numbers just has 0 to 8. Why 8? I just was thinking this. You probably see my wheels turning. Because you turn the 6 upside down and it becomes a 9. So it's redundant to have the 9 as well as the 6, right? So I got these two things for leather punching. So of course I had to get some leather. So I ordered some leather through Amazon. So they already have the holes to sew on. So these are for hats, bags, blankets, so that I could put love from my name or my company and put Naughty Yarnies on it. So I purchased a bunch of these. It's not showing up very well. Let's open it up to show you. Sorry for the crinkling. Everybody says that. I don't know what the crinkling bothers. Anybody bothered by crinkling? I watch videos and I'm like, it's fine. So here is the size. So those are perfect. And I just need now a rubber mallet in order, and the mat that goes under, so when I'm pounding the letters, I don't hurt my countertop or table. The next thing I have are amazing especially for all you knitters. I showed my friend Gina these the other day when I was chatting with her, and she was blown away because it was perfect timing, she says, because she had a problem. So when I'm knitting, I don't know if you're like me, I want to show it to you. But if you knit like I do, when you knit, you push off with your finger. And sometimes you end up with a hole in your darn finger. So look at these. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen me show a picture of one. They come in a box. They're called Gripply. Rhymes with Ripley, like Ripley's Believe It or Not, but they're called Gripply, and there's 10 in a package. And all you do is you measure with a soft measuring tape around your finger for your size. So these are a large. These are 19 millimeters, my finger was. Actually, my finger was 18 3/4. So these are a little bit loose on me, but I didn't want them super duper tight either. So find what you think would be a good measurement for you. And there's 10, and I'm putting them in each of my Notions pouches. So each bag will have one of my knitting bags is going to have one of these in it. So these were on Amazon, on Canadian Amazon, for $14 for 10. So you may be able to get them cheaper in the States. So hopefully you can. It didn't matter. These are just like thimbles, but they have a ridge on them, so it keep it on your finger. I think if you were to cut the tip off a thimble, it wouldn't stay as nice as these do, because that's what these are meant to do. Next on the list, I am doing some stitch markers, and the stitch markers are going to be like progress keepers also, and I'm going to do them with numbers on, so I could put them on my crochet and know which hook size I was using. So I bought a bunch of just little beads with numbers so that I can put like 5. So I know I was using a 5mm crochet hook on that project. So I got a big bag and I'm going to do some of those. Now the next thing I'm going to talk about is what I was telling you about the shawl. I guess I threw out the packaging away after I recorded my last video, which I scrapped. So I don't have a photo of it. Maybe I'll try to find a photo online and I'll put it up here, but I'm going to show what it is. I got this at Michael's. It's 60 feet of this rubbery stuff. Okay. Comes in all different colors. And if you could see, I don't know if you'll be, oh wait. Yeah, you won't be able to tell. There's a hole. There's a little minute hole in the middle of this, okay? So what you do is you take a length that you're going to need for your shawl. So you want to put your shawl on hold, take an arm length, and you cut it. Then you take your interchangeable needle. Let's just show you. You take your smallest size needle, like a 2mm is actually the perfect size. Where'd that end go now? 2mm. There it is. Ah, now I lost my needle. Okay, and you push the end that has the thread of your needle, not your tip that you knit with, into that hole. It takes some forcing. I probably can't do it just sitting here. I need good lighting, or I need a smaller. This is probably a 3mm. Oh, this is the 2.75. You need a 2mm or maybe a 1.5, and it fits right in. And then you just go along your stitches to cast them all on. Take this off once you get to the end, pull it through. This is rubber and your stitches won't go anywhere. You don't need an end stopper or anything. It didn't, my Vertices Unite did not move whatsoever, and I only have like this much sticking out both ends. It didn't slide, my stitches didn't slide, because this is rubber and a little bit grippy. So this stuff I found at Michael's in the beading section for kids. It's called pony beads. Okay, $4.99 for 60 feet. So they have stuff like this in the knitting yarn stores and stuff. If that's your jam, go for it. Great. Great. I just try to go as frugal as I can, and if I could get 60 feet of this stuff for $5, it's better than getting a little fancy tin to me and maybe 20 feet of it of a brand name or something. But I mean, if that's your jam, you do that. You do what you can afford and what you could do. This is what I could afford, so that's what I chose to do, was go with the pony bead stuff. So this will last me a very long time, and it will. That's just awesome. Then, oh, just to let y'all know, I am in Canada, so it probably took me a lot longer. I got my newest Hirschner's catalog in, so I haven't even looked through that. Also, my mom got me this case. Thank you, Mom. Boy, I'm using it. It has all my diddle. I made a word. It has all my little charmy things, buttons, earrings, stitch markers, like just everything in here. everything to make my stitch markers, progress keepers, all that stuff. And if I just need something out of the middle one, you just unclip the sides for just the middle one itself. 1, 2, and take off the lid, and there you have access to the middle one. Yeah, it's really cool. So thanks, Mom. I use that every single day. It's great. I also got, this is the last thing I got, and then I'm going to show you one future project. I got this cone of yarn from my secondhand store. And it was in a bag, so I didn't know what it was, but I took a chance on it. I got home, looked inside, and it says from a woolen company. It's called the Rosamond Woolen Company in Almont, Ontario. So it gave me clues. So I went online to look, and it was a textile company that's not around anymore. It actually burnt down. I think it burnt twice. And it burnt the second time, I think it was the 80s or 90s. And they didn't sell these. They used these to make textiles and things. So this, I have a suspicion, is a very, very thin lace weight wool. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but I'm going to do the burn test. And what the burn test is you take a little piece of it and you do go outside, preferably, or over a sink maybe. Just take a little snippet of it and you burn it. And then if it turns like ash, you know it's a natural like fiber, like alpaca, wool, yak, things like that. Now if it melts, you know it's acrylic. And cotton also does something else. It kind of is a mixture between not melting. It's not ash. It does something else. If you want to know how to look up on YouTube under search, the burn test to test what kind of yarn you have. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So I haven't did my burn test yet to try it out, but that's on the plan for this weekend. Now my last thing, I'm just taking a second look around to make sure, because I have lots of stuff here. We went through a lot. If you're still here, you're a trooper, and thank you so very much. I appreciate it. And I can't wait to chat with you in the comments after this is over. This is literally going to take me a full day to get it up, edited, and uploaded. So hopefully you get this on by Sunday. So hopefully. Today's Friday I'm recording, but it's late afternoon, so it probably will be Sunday before you see this. So I hope everybody's having a great weekend. My next work in progress is going to be the Night Shift shawl by Andrea Mowry. So I just wanted to put that out there, that I'm going to be making this with the kit that my youngest son purchased me while we were at Wool Time in Ottawa the last time. So if you watched for a while, you've seen that kit. And I discussed with him, instead of using the whole kit, there's 6 skeins. I think I'm going to do 3 and 3. So I'm going to make 2 shawls, but I'm going to use one solid color of something I already own, or maybe purchase the next time I go, and do a solid color. I think it'll make the spun yarn of it stand out a lot more if I use a solid color with it. So I think that's it. Let me double check. Yep, that seems to be it. I had lots and lots and lots to talk to you about, show you mostly. That's what I was excited about. I was mostly excited just to get this done and up there so that my next one won't be 2 hours long. I hope it's not 2 hours long. I apologize if it is. I truly didn't do it on purpose. I just did not feel like myself, and I'm hoping I'm starting to get better. I've had a really great chat with a friend of mine, and that really, really, really helped. So yeah, hopefully I'm starting to get a bit in a better mind space, if you will. So thank you guys, each and every one of you. If you want to answer any of the questions that I had down below, that would be wonderful. If not, that's wonderful also. So I'm hoping to do a video every 2 weeks, but if I do one next week too, who knows? I just play it by ear. I play it by weather. If it's dark and stormy for a week straight, the lighting's just off, so I just don't do it. So, but I hope everyone's well, doing fantastic, having a great summer, and yeah, it will still be summer. Should still be summer when I see you next. So I'm going to try to record all those little videos here and there in between the podcasts, but that probably won't be coming until fall, because when I have more time. Right now I'm busy with a lot of different things. You'll hear about what things later on, because if it happens or not, I don't know yet for sure. So take care, everybody. Thank you so much, everyone, for following along. If you liked this video, I hope you take a second to click like. If you're not subscribed, I wish you would. It would be wonderful. I have so much new things coming out in the near future. I'm kind of just getting into what feels right and that kind of thing. So take care, everyone. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time. And don't forget to keep on being naughty. Bye. Love you all.